This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
It is a word that pilots us in many different ways. Many relationships, life in general, even the relationship with ourselves. But a lot of times we have trouble with this word, and it is trust. How do you have trust for yourself, trust within others? What happens when trust is breached? There's another term, three words, trust the process in terms of the universe, life, and all of that. We're going to center on that today. I trust she will have some good observations as an amazing psychotherapist. And we've had lots of good conversations so far and a couple of epiphanies. And for me, connecting the dots to other things in life to understand stuff. Dr. Hadass Harel is back with us. How are you doing today?
Oh, it's so great to see you, Steve.
You too.
And what you bring to mind is especially, you and I have so many other people who are kind of dependent upon us to keep them kind of trusting and inspired. And so we have to kind of take a look in the mirror sometime and say, are we still inspired and are we still trusting? And I sometimes I get cynical. I have to keep other people going when I'm like, yeah, but am I trusting? And I have a profound faith in the greater I have faith. I do trust universe, but I on in a greater sense of things, but I'm not naive at all. I
Mhm.
think you are not either. We don't have a sugar-coated sense of reality.
I agree.
And so a lot of times I'm called, and one of my favorite expressions to people is universe is not a vending machine. God is not a vending machine. We all know the stories about, someone gets like a windfall because accidentally they got somebody else's paycheck. And you have to say, absolutely not. You have to pay that back. That is somebody else's money. God didn't give you that. That's a mistake. And they're like, no, God blessed me. And I'm like, no, that is not yours. So we don't pray and get, a Mercedes.
I
You
can't
don't
believe you
put
said that because what you're referring to was actually a news story that recently came out. I
and
believe
comes out every once in a while where there is a mistake, but that is not yours. You don't pray for something that's not realistic.
it happened to a man, and I can't remember, it may have been Russia very recently, where they deposited all his coworkers' paychecks into his account. It was like $60,000
Accidentally, and he didn't
accidentally.
want to give it back.
Yes.
And that is, I've been to Africa. Okay. Enough said. I'm sorry.
Mm.
That's really profiling. But we don't pray for what is not realistic. We have to pray realistically. And that means I'm jaded, perhaps. But, this happens often. We always have those news stories. And when, in a way, when you're a therapeutic figure, and all of us at some point we cross the line from kind of hand holding to educating. And we teach morality. And again, the figure, the phrase is God is not a vending machine. And we pray, and the process is not simple. We pray for general goodness in the world, and we also will get bliss and blessing. And sometimes the blessing gets, or there is general giving, and some of it trickles down to us, but a mistake may benefit us. We get some of the benefits, but we don't get everyone else's paycheck because we can't get what is not there. And we have to know a little bit of economics. I mean, recent politics taught us this. I will not get into deep. Okay. I will get into you can't promise that Coke will flow in the faucets rather than water because you can't do that. I mean, you can promise it, but it will not happen. You can't promise free housing for all unless you take care of the steps between this and that. Because there'll be riots in the street once people find out that that is not going to happen. And they'll be justified to riot. It will not be their fault if that was promised to them.
Well, also, we talk about trust. What's going to happen at that point? The person that promised, free housing for
Will
everyone.
not get lynched. The people that will be lynched will be some sort of scapegoat group. It will not be the person who promised because no one would understand that it's his damn fault.
So if we look at trust, how can we pilot better through that concept in terms of trusting more, trusting less potentially? Maybe, I will fully admit that I don't even want to say this. I trust too easily. I trust too much. And I've pulled that back in the last couple of years. And even in the past year, there's a couple of situations, nothing major, but I shake a hand. Yeah, we're all good.
We're a great team on that because I will say I trust not enough. And in order to heal, and I have done a tremendous amount of healing. In order to heal, in order to recover, you need to trust more. And I medically have done an incredible amount of trusting.
I want to look at that a little deeper, maybe in a different way.
And
How to,
so we come from different sides of the spectrum, which is why we're a great team on that. We're like on two sides of a spiral. Because it's not fantastic to trust too much, obviously, because what happens is you expect and you don't get what you expect.
mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Not good.
That word was going to come out eventually. Expectation. Is it about trust or is it about expectation? Do you, instead of trusting, maybe set the expectation first so it's fully understood by maybe all parties?
Trust is something really, it's trust is a hot air balloon, but not in a bad way, in a beautiful way. It's like floating something that will raise you. If you think about beautiful church music, okay, uplifting church music,
Sure.
that will carry you, really lift you, give you wings. Hope gives you wings. You want to recover, you need something to lift you up. All those beautiful wing photos that people love to take pictures with?
Yeah, on the side of a building. Sure.
Yeah. But really, inspire lifts you up, carries you up. That is trust. That's what trust is. It's those fantastic images that really it carries you out of injury. It carries you out of trauma. It carries you out of cancer to 100% recovery. It carries you up. It carries you from, the pit of hell.
So maybe this is a deeper question, but when things don't go as expected at the hands of others, okay, you trusted, it didn't happen the way you thought it would. I never thought they would do that, but they did. Is it on you or them? Think about that for a moment.
First of all, I will tell you, there is always hope within. Okay, let me go completely crazy. Okay. I had medical, completely medical. I won't even get to more complicated stuff. I was heading for a wheelchair. I have a connective tissue disorder. I had 3 surgeries on my foot from an old dancing injury. They repaired it 3 times. They couldn't do anything. Finally, a doctor said to me, "You're not at an age where normally I would do it, but let me put screws at the back of your foot because we can't repair your tendons. Otherwise, we either fit you with a shoe that you'll have to wear day and night, or we put you in a wheelchair." I said, fine. He said, usually we don't do this for people, but you went to Everest Base Camp. You're just like, you're not the kind of person that wants a shoe like that.
Space camp, hold on. Where did you go?
Everest Base Camp.
Where's that?
When I was 20, I climbed Mount Everest.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes, yes. I didn't want to be in a wheelchair. I was not even 40. I didn't want to be in a wheelchair. So I couldn't walk. I had a portable toilet by my bed for 10 weeks. I went to a pool with crutches. And today you can't tell I ever limped after limping for 14 years. I made complete recovery. But what was my hot air balloon was the fact that, I have screws in the back of my leg. No, my tendons were left alone because my tendons are not repairable, which, connective tissue disorder, they're not repairable. You repair them, they stretch again, which people didn't know before. So, but what happened is because of the water, especially deep water, my lymph nodes kicked into super action. So because I'm stubborn and because I started to enjoy it, lymph nodes are like little sailboats. They even have a tassel that acts like a sail. They lift it, they start going. So I don't trust things on outside of me, but within me, there were lymph nodes that act like sails of hope. I don't even have a scar from that surgery. I, in general, don't scar, and I've had so many surgeries in my life, but I don't even have a scar from that surgery.
Wow.
So that is how hope works. So for
Well,
me, hope, lymph nodes,
but
they
you had,
just kick into action. This is possible for every person. If they do the right stuff after a surgery, they act like little dump trucks. They rush to the area, they migrate from other parts of the body. They rush to that dump site. That's why a lot of times sites of surgeries become very swollen because there's liquids, but it's usually beneficial liquid. And lymph nodes from everywhere else in the body lymph nodes rush over there, they load their little dump trucks and they clean it up. That's why if we can get in water after surgeries, we should. The deeper the water, the better.
But ultimately, in this whole process, you had trust. You
I had trust. I went within because for me, it's hard to trust people on the outside. Sometimes I think they're idiots. I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't trust externally. I trust internally. And sometimes I don't trust my mind because I think it does this thing of not trusting people. Sometimes I make the wrong decisions, but I trust my body. And you often talk about trusting your gut. I trust even more internal than gut. I trust the wisdom of my cell process, my cellular process. So the lymph nodes are internal as it gets. This is lymph node wisdom. And we all have it. There's not a person within among us who doesn't have lymph nodes. You make a cut anywhere in the body, it swells a little bit because that means that the lymphatic system is activated.
and we put a lot of, or we don't put enough um, emphasis on the lymphatic system and what it's actually doing in our body.
Exactly. I can tell you exactly what the lymphatic hub, the lymphatic hubs in the body are, because after that, I really studied it.
Mm.
I have so much respect for the lymphatic system. And in fact, some people stay kind of stagnated and don't recover from old surgeries. But once you activate your lymphatic hubs, you can retroactively heal from stuck procedures that were never recovered. And you can start to look years younger. You can recover things that never recovered. So you talk a lot about going within and going inward, and so the business of trusting inwardly. So this is my example of hope and of trust and of trusting not externally but inwardly and really achieving complete recovery.
What's the difference between trust and hope?
I'll say something awful. I think there is no difference. Isn't that funny?
I'm processing it. I'm thinking, could there be a difference? Um,
I think I will say also, both of them have an interesting relationship within them between internal process and external process. Because I think trust starts outwardly and continues inwardly, and hope starts inwardly and continues outwardly, but it can be different for different people. But both of them have a component that is inner and continues out. It engages both in and out. But I think also, I mean, this is a little complicated, but I think, and this probably is true for both of us as people who kind of guide, drag other people along with us as we do this. I feel that for me, I've always had somewhat of a responsibility to be in check and in communication with my own trust and hope as I take people along with me on this tunnel, into this tunnel. Because, if I am jaded, then how can I tell people to, go along on this ride?
I don't trust like I used to. However, I do trust my intuition more than I ever used to.
which means that your inner core is stronger and your outer reliance is less.
And that's only from experience, even in the last
Yeah,
couple of years. Um,
yeah.
but the expectation, as you broke down the word trust, we have an expectation of something to take place. It doesn't. That's where you put the trust in. Uh, Managing the expectation, I think, is pretty big. Like if you're going to trust somebody, you have an expectation. There needs to be communication. They need to understand what you're expecting or trusting is going to take place or not. Um, that all those things have to be firing at the same time, or else I feel it's going to go wrong.
And I will not sell anyone anything that I don't know is solid.
100%.
And therefore, if I am trusting inwardly, I know everyone has lymph nodes.
Yeah.
And so I can tell anyone you can heal like I did if you do. I mean, I know that's solid.
Well, here we go. Lymph nodes and trust. It was February. I was told that I had stage 3 skin cancer.
Hmm.
My intuition told me that doesn't sound right. And then he even said, "Oh, we found another spot. You might want to check that one." That's after, scans. I'm like, intuition doesn't, that's not adding up for me. And I looked deeper. It was wrong. But they
There
said,
you
yeah,
go.
but stage 3 means it's in your lymph nodes. Um, I didn't trust it. And I looked deeper. Glad I did. Trusted in another doctor. He out of the gate said, nah, no, 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 don't even worry about it. You're fine. And he was right. And also, without getting into any deeper into it, don't need to. Um, I trusted the universe, and that doctor showed up for a reason, and there was a reason he did.
Precisely.
It was.
It's similar for me. I had for actually 14 years. I had small but badly placed cancer in the pancreas and the liver. And because it was very badly placed, we were waiting for science to develop to be able to get into the head of the pancreas. And I was like, I don't have time for this, so we will not be fussing about it. But what happened is because of all the lymphatic work I did for my leg, it ended up eliminating itself. So I went through 3 MRIs a year to now they're not following it up anymore because it shrank completely. It's gone.
And
It
there's
doesn't
trust,
exist anymore.
trust in the body can heal itself. It's amazing if you give it what
Exactly.
it needs.
But you know how embarrassing it is that I have friends and acquaintances that had surgery for exactly the same thing that are not living anymore.
Mm.
Mine left because of all the lymphatic action that I did.
Thank you for sharing that and and for your transparency. We're out of time. How does somebody connect with you, Hadass? What's the best way?
Well, the number that people can reach me at on WhatsApp or on regular phone is 508 um 631-7649. And I also work on BetterHelp, which is very accessible. And we're here pretty much every week, and we have such way cool conversations.
It reveals a lot and a lot of, especially the lymphatic system. You bringing that to the attention of us all, it's huge. It's how your body cleanses toxins, but nobody really talks about it. There isn't even a lot of emphasis put on it, but it is so important. Hadass, thank you for today.
And hopeful and inspiring, and really, yes, it's something we can trust completely because it's ours.
I trust, like this time when we get together next time, it'll be great. I appreciate you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.